Today I want to talk to you about how to extend and get more distance out of your slider sight. There's a lot of misconceptions out there when it comes to this kind of stuff. A lot of guys think it has to do with speed, and speed can help. However, it's more geometry based when it comes to getting more distance out of your slider sight. So number one, if I'm looking at Blake's sight here, it's the distance from his peep to his scope that's going to greatly determine how far he can actually shoot this bow out to and still get clearance off of the scope. So the tighter you bring in a scope towards the riser of the bow is significantly going to help to get more distance and maximize how far you can actually shoot. And the second most important thing is your actual peep height. So, I use my wife as an example for this all the time. She's a short draw, about 25.5 inches, 50 pounds. She's actually able to go to the range and slide her sight to 100 yards with plenty of clearance, no problem. So what I'm going to have Blake do here is pull back. We're going to kind of look at him at full draw. Perfect. So as Blake's at full draw, the peep height in the string at static is one thing. And a lot of guys like to measure from here to here. However, what is a more critical factor is the distance from your peep to your arrow shaft. So if I was to take this distance right here and measure it with a set of calipers, and then I measured the distance from Blake's 20-yard pin to the tip of his arrow. If you look at that measurement, it does not matter where I move this sight to, those two distances are going to go back to the exact same position every time. However, if Blake wants to get more distance and we can't move his sight any closer to the bow, the only other option I have is to actually take Blake's peep and slide it up the bowstring. If I move the peep up, it's going to increase the distance from the peep to the arrow shaft, and his 20-yard pin is also going to correlate. So go ahead and fire a shot there for me, Blake. Perfect. So with this setup, Blake, how far distance do you think you're going to be able to clear out of this thing?
About 130.
130 yards. So pretty good distance. For most bow setups, for most guys, depending on what your comfortable range is shooting, even with what we'd call high anchor point, a lot of guys have a really high anchor, which causes the peep to sit lower in the string. You're probably going to get enough range in the field hunting. That's not a big deal. However, with a ton of guys that want to go to tack or get that extended range, kind of like what you get, you really got to look at the geometry more than the speed of your bow. So getting your peep sight up the string, which means sometimes moving your anchor point down, getting your peep sight set a little higher, or for certain sight models, if you can get it shrunk into the bow, your sight tapes are going to seem faster because your sight doesn't have to travel the same linear distance to cover the same range. So for guys that are looking to get a little bit more distance, these are some of the things you got to look at here. But, if you have a longer draw length or, 80 pounds like what Blake's shooting, hey, it definitely helps to get those kind of distances. But with the right setup, the right geometry, you can really extend your effective range there. So if you have any questions, comment down below on the video. Let us know your thoughts. If you're struggling with getting some distance, put that in there. I'll go through and read all the comments. But if you guys are liking the content you're seeing on this channel, like, subscribe, give us a thumbs up. It really helps us out. And I like guys' feedback too. If you have a different method or a different way of doing things, let me know. I'm all for learning new things. But rather than that, guys, thanks for tuning in this week. And remember to get wild.